All right, guys, it's another Sunday scan coming at you a little bit differently. I could not figure out the lighting inside the house for the life of me because there's so many windows. It was pitch black dark when I tried to look into the camera. So this is the only way that I could figure it out for right now. And, you know, it's Sunday, so I've got to do a Sunday scan. And, you know, there's no excuses. So if there is people screaming, it's because they're on jet skis and getting probably towed by a boat or something like that. But at any rate, the Kodak day that I was talking about, that I had quite the round trip on, the property that I closed on that day was this one. So we've been staying up at the beach for most of the summer. Usually I stay up there a couple weeks and then I rent it out a lot of the other times, but this year with COVID we kicked it all but one renter out that was really looking forward to it, so I didn't have the heart to say it's not happening. So they're up there this week, and so anyway, we came up here. I don't really have too much here yet. I'm still trying to figure it out, but just kind of retouch upon what I was talking about last week, or 2 weeks ago rather, about why we do this, right? And you know, I was even thinking about it again today, and you know, you can always just keep on going and going and going, and you're always trying to get, you know, more and more and more, right? And I've always said, I think in a couple of interviews, you know, once you get to 100 grand, you need 200, then 500, a million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million. It just keeps on going, right? You're never going to be satisfied. So I think the biggest difference with doing, you know, properties or memories and things like that with your kids or family or whomever it may be, is that you actually, you know, you get there. You have something to look forward to. You know, redoing this, I love kind of redoing places, either lightening them up if they're really dark. Right now it's super dark inside. I don't know what my plan is yet, but the point is that, you know, at least that's tangible. It's something that you have worked towards. It's something that you've accomplished, rather than this variable number. And you will not call it a variable number, but it is. And every time you get to that number that you thought you were going to be happy, for some reason you're just not happy, and you need to go to the next level and the next level. So I think that if you take just a brief moment to kind of think about what your priorities are and where you're going with this and why you actually trade, I think that having a better understanding of that is going to allow you to kind of better align your goals. With that said, let's see here. First and foremost, my first note was we launched CODY, also known as Odd Stock Trader in the Room, his boot camp. We've been kind of going back and forth. CODY always has these ideas. He comes up with them and then he doesn't follow through. And then we have an idea and then we're like, you know, maybe not, maybe another time. So we finally, you know, we've been at this for I don't know how long, probably a year plus. But then we finally got serious about it in June, because he always has a really good start to the year. He like kind of goes sideways in the summer, and then he has a really powerful end of the year. And it's just the last 3 years, I think, is been that steady consistency of, you know, good, bad, good. And so why not just take a little break of a break in the summer months and work on something new? So that's exactly what he did, and he's worked on this boot camp for quite some time. So we launched it, and it is I think there's only less than a dozen spots left. We're not selling as many as we can. That's not the goal. The goal is kind of like a small class size, so that people can ask questions and be able to go back and forth with CODY on a more intimate level. So the good part about it is it comes with a month of IU, it comes with textbook trading, and we haven't done this before. So it's 2 weeks of, it starts at 4:30 and I think it goes till 5:30 or 6, I'm not sure exactly. But there's only a few spots. And the good part about that, like I said, is it's a lot more intimate. So you're going to be able to ask CODY the questions that you want. You're going to have his email, and then you're also going to have a little bit of time in the IU chat room to check it out. So it's been insane. It's an insane time to trade right now. It's an insane time to learn. You know, I think that if you have the right foundation, the right understanding of how things, you know, are moving and what they're doing, I think that this is just the best time to be a trader. A lot of people compare it to 99, except that it's not fractions, and it's a lot more volume. So I mean, to be able to come into a market like this is absolutely incredible if you know what you're doing, if you have a strategy, if you have any clue. If you don't, you can still make money for sure. Lots of people are, but are you going to keep it? And you know how many people made money in 99 and then blew it all, right? So the idea, the goal is to at least have the tools to understand how to keep it, how to manage risk, and how to actually trade once you actually need to know how to trade. Because obviously right now you can pretty much just blink and make money in this market. So last week, a small recap. I feel like there was a lot of opportunities, but there just wasn't, when I'm always shouting about these A+ opportunities, right? Get all excited, we get ready. The trades that you want to size into, take your max risk that, makes sense to you. And when that happens, you react right off the open, and things like that, are what we look forward to. So sometimes the market slows down a little bit. Not to say that the market was slow at all, but there wasn't A+ setups right off the open for me. So last week, I felt like just putting the brakes on. I traded a little bit pre-market, but I've been going at it, since for many months now. 5 a.m. wake ups, 6, 7 a.m. A lot of positions by 6, 7 a.m. at times. And for this past week, I literally have not had very sizable positions at all before open. And I think that was a little bit self-administered to, I felt that things were potentially slowing down a little bit, and I just didn't want to force something that wasn't meant to be, because that's exactly how everybody does it. You force and force and force when it's not an A+, and you end up, backtracking. So my goal was just to come in, make sure that I stayed focused. One of the other things I said last week was, I kind of was focused on non-A+. There was A+ setting up, but because I just traded to trade, I missed a couple of the great opportunities. So I didn't want to do that this week. So I fully corrected that. And that's exactly what it's all about with trading, right? You make a plan, you stick to it. You screw up one week, you rectify that. You figure out what you did wrong, and you make sure you don't do it the next week. And so I think that's what I did this week, which was great. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? So in a situation like that, I set price alerts. I set price alerts to exactly where I want the stock to tell me, hey, it's time to trade me. That's it. It's that easy, rather than, watching it, waiting for it, and focusing on, all these different names. Forget that. Set your price alerts. It'll tell you. It's the easiest thing to do. Set price alerts. And it's going to say, hey, it's time to trade me. You were interested in me at this level. Otherwise you're going to be watching it all day, and you're going to switch, you're going to take it off watch, and then the move's going to happen. Meanwhile, if you set the price alerts, you would have known. And we have that right inside Investors Underground. So, other than that, let's see. Looking left, RKT, perfect example on Monday morning. If I remember, when I switch over to the dash trader to go over my trades and whatnot, I'll do a little looking left to kind of show you. But I posted the chart on Twitter on Friday. But make sure you guys are always looking left to get a little bit of idea of where things could run to and where they might have resistance. And I swear that your trading will get so much better, because it's going to give you a little bit more confidence, both knowing that you know where to be wrong, and knowing where it likely should hold, and you'd be right. Otherwise, let's see, a couple more notes. Avidity Fitness, I say this every week. I always ask for 5 people. I'm not standing there. Zach said I need to start doing some bicep curls and stuff before I invite you guys to go, because it wasn't working the last 2 weeks. We only got about 2 people. So hopefully this week we can inspire a couple of you to just try it out. There's about 20 of us now. Sometimes 17, sometimes 22. It just depends on the day. Not a big group, but he can spend the time with people that are, the form's a little off, or if you need some type of modification. For example, I can't go over my shoulders on some exercises, so he gives me a second exercise to do instead of the one that he wants me to do. And that's just, he'll modify it for any injuries that you guys might have, and go from there. So really think about it. I really do think that it helps with trading. We usually do it, we do it every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m., and then every Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. And actually, this was the first weekend that I missed, just because we were running all over the place. We had to leave Maine, and then I just had 3 kids, my 2 kids and my dog, and Laura needed a break. So this was the first weekend, I think, in all of summer that I missed. So with that said, hopefully you guys can commit and come. It's 4 free sessions for free. There's no catch. You can join and do a quarterly thing with him after if you'd like. A lot of people have. He's very, very cheap, and it at least gets you motivated to kind of get your blood flowing. And again, it will help you with trading. Let's see. Common questions that I get: what to gap? What do you look for overnight type trades? The idea is just follow through momentum. So I'm looking for stocks that have a nice daily chart, nice intraday chart, when they start to have a multiple time frame breakout that lines up perfectly. And if it closes really, really, really strong, I don't want to be long. I like it less. So for example, FAMI, F-A-M-I on Friday, everybody thinks it's the next IGC. If everybody's doing the same thing, it's strong, 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 strong into 3 p.m., what do you think is going to happen? So I waited and waited and waited, and I tried to take advantage. Who knows? I may be wrong come, Monday, but I waited for them to puke it all out, and, it fell under a buck. So, I scooped some low ones and I scooped some under one. But that's a good example of something that I don't want to overnight unless it flushes out. That's why I always look for big flushes into the close on situations like that. Otherwise, continued momentum, slow, steady pace. If it's a squeeze, big breakout, forget about it. Not interested. HK, hopefully you guys saw the big warning on Twitter about, kind of understanding that tape, understanding what type of situation we're in. Intraday squeeze, a lot of circuit halts, and I had said that this was not all, retail buying, that this was, likely shorts covering into the close. Be careful overnight, that there's a good chance that we're going to go right back to where it came from. And it went right back to where it came from, down 50% on Friday. And I think the last 2 comments that I had, the last 2, pre-scan things. One was MTP. It's very important to know when a newsletter is pump and dumping it. It hasn't always been the case with particular newsletters, but greed, changes everybody. And there's been a situation where it's become very very profitable to manipulate stocks pre-market. And, not that I'm complaining about it, because it's offering great opportunities, but as a new trader, you need to understand that this stock is being manipulated pre-market. It is being pumped to you, and it is being dumped to you moments later. And it's unnatural moves. And when you're in a situation like this, when and if the stock stops going up, when and if they run into a wall, it's going to come down. It's going to come down extremely fast. So with that said, BFRA was another example. It was a stock that was potentially easily able to be manipulated. It was in the mid 30s, and I warned, be careful, because, they're obviously, promoting it. They're pumping it. And it closed around 16s or so. So about 20, almost 20 bucks off that level. Even 1,000 shares, even 500 shares, that's 15 to 30, 10 to 20K, depending on what kind of size you had. And it doesn't take a lot of shares. So you guys just have to be aware of that. If you are part of a newsletter that is alerting entries pre-market on thin names and continually talking about all the volume, I mean, it's being churned and created by you, the trader that's following. So be aware of it. You guys saw it. You guys saw MTP, how fast it came down. and as well as many others. So I call what we receive a free look. A free look basically means you got to see what was going to happen eventually, right? You get to find out right away. When all that volume hits, if it doesn't budge, you know where it's going. So that is, I think, the general note. It's Monday, so we're going to have a ton of built-up FOMO. We're going to have a ton of action. We're going to have a ton of opportunity coming, but I just want to make sure that you guys realize that, yes, I am interested in some of this stuff on the videos. However, I think that we're going to get one or two major types of trades come Monday morning, because that's all the FOMO builds up. Everybody gets excited, and we end up having a 200-300% runner by 7-8 a.m. on Monday. So let's get right into the watches for Monday. Show you my main watches, some other swings that I've been holding, as well as potential fades. And then, as usual, I have a little section of just staying familiar. Stocks that I want to stay familiar with. Doesn't mean I'm going to trade them, but I'll set price alerts and wait for them to set up properly. One other thought that I wanted to mention before this whole scan thing, this SRNE kind of reminded me of it, was, Codex, INO, those are some examples that I gave this weekend. Even RKT, the IPO. We are coming into some territory that may be the start of, some of the unwinds, some of the momentum coming apart, some of the easy money starting to fade. It doesn't mean that anything's slowing down. Obviously, I love shorting, and any 1,000, 2,000 point days. What happens is we start to go towards the AMDs, the shops, the Teslas, all these different names, instead of these small caps, because the real names start to trade like small caps. So, when I say that things could slow down, when I say that, maybe things are starting to pull back, that doesn't mean that, profits or opportunities are going anywhere. There's going to be a ton. The things have ran up so much. But what I am saying is that all these people that have been, chasing these 200-300% winners, it is starting to catch up. INO, SRNE, Codex, as well as many others. But I noticed this week they started to come in, and then you start to see the pullback, and then the next pullback, and then another pullback. And people aren't used to that. And so what I had said was, that you should be wiring out. If you've turned a little bit of money into a lot, wire out a whole bunch, just so you know that you have it, just so that you see it. Once it's in your bank account, it's a little bit of a different story than just a number in your trading account. That's the thing about our trading accounts. They're just numbers, right? They go up and down, and it doesn't really become anything tangible until you take it out, right? So the point here is take it out, because if and when everything starts to pull back, at least you'll be able to wire back in to give yourself a second shot. Most times people don't realize it until they're too late. It's too late. They keep averaging down, and then they end up with nothing. I've said before, I'll say it again, you only need to get rich once. Most of you guys don't realize that you've made a lot of money, because again, it's just a number right now, and it's been easy. There's been a lot of easy money out there. So keep that in mind. If you start to find yourself averaging down into losers, make sure you put the brakes on. Make sure you kind of realize how far you've come, because a lot of times we don't realize it until after that loss, and then you start to beat yourself up saying, "Oh, I should have done this. I could have done that." And, we don't play that game, but you do need to realize once you've done well. Look back over the last 3 months, 6 months, a year. How have you done? So it looks like I've got 10 minutes left to finish this. So SRNE, ideally, we don't get too much of a gap down, but I'll be looking for pressure for an unwind and potential fade back towards, under 10. Might be going single digits this week. AVGR, I think we should really take a look at. I've been accumulating in there. You can see a nice little setup here forming. You can see that 60 and 65 are going to be key levels, right? If you're looking left, 65 being right over here, this last run, as well as right here. Then we go into the gap, and we could get into the 85s, or in this market, who knows, maybe $1, $1.20. But there is a thesis here. There is a catalyst Typically, the 510, the FDA clearance takes about 90 days plus. So that could be as soon as August 20th. So there's a catalyst here for the potential breakout. Not too many people have been talking about it, but you can start to see it stopping going down and starting to go up. So as this starts to come, if we break that 65 level, we could easily go 80, 85, dollar and beyond. So we've seen recent run-ups with TRVN and LPCN. DKNG I have as a main watch, but it's nothing that I'm crazy excited about. I just think there's going to be an opportunity. So 9:45, 10 a.m. I'm looking to join. The only reason I put it on as main watch is because I don't have a big list of main watches, and at the same time, it was a great trade on Friday, so I want to stick with it. Read it well, and I'm just going to be looking to join that trend. RKT was great. This was the looking left one that I talked about. So we had a nice pullback. And the reason why I was looking left was, or the place that I got my levels was right here. You can just see it. So you just go and do your dandy horizontal line. And I mean, it's not rocket science, right? And so that's why I let that level kind of push. I didn't get bent before that level, let it confirm, and then just let it work. And that was it. So same thing, I'll be looking probably towards VWAP, 1940s, and then potential fade off the rest of the day. Under the failed follow through momentum, let's see how much time I've got left now. 7 minutes, this isn't going well. MTP, higher the better. 270s for potential unwind back under 2s. EXPI, I started into a fade. I don't have very many at all. I traded it, I covered some, I kept a few just because I don't want to miss this one, so sometimes I keep a few just not to forget. But higher the better, and you're starting to get a little bit of information here. 35s or so would be a key level. If it starts to base at 35s, I don't want to fight with it. Other than that, continuation, NMTR, nice ripper. Nothing, it doesn't look like much, but big candle. So I had bought this one a little while ago. I think on this first run, it just had small. And then I finally saw a buyer in the tape on Friday. I mentioned it, so I went ahead and added. CLPS has been a good one. Nice breakout forming. I've been long for about a week and a half now. That was an idea in the IU room. Same thing, GNPX, put this on Friday. Nice trend throughout the day. We know this name. And I got long on dips, letting the trade work. PPSI has been a swing trade for me. Not chasing it, but same setup that you saw on CLSK, PDSB, and CLSK, and think of the other one. Oh, I have it written. PSTV. Again, I always write the same thoughts on scan, so if you click the link in the description, you'll see it. All right, so last but not least is going to be FAMI, F-A-M-I. Now, I got a position in this in the low ones as well as under ones after hours. The thought process here was the same thing that I went over earlier about everybody always asking about gappers, right? And how do you select which ones you want to hold over and things like that. So in a situation like this, everybody went in with the mindset that it was going to be the next IGC, right? Well, if everybody's calling it the next IGC, then you probably don't want to be long. And IGC came because nobody thought or nobody was prepared for that, right? When everybody's prepared for the same thing, it rarely works. And the same thing when you don't know any longs, all you know is people size short and things are going, and they're going on the highs. You know that there's likely going to be a squeeze. I did not know anybody that was long Kodak, but I knew plenty of people that were short, right? So meanwhile, we're going up to highs, and new high days, and so why am I fighting that trade, right? But similar situation here, only on the flip. So, everybody's long, everybody's looking for that, end of day squeeze and gapper and all this and that. So I don't like to be on that same side. For me, I like to see a pullback to VWAP. Assume it's going to stay heavy. If it does, you don't want to oversize. You might have a nice flush out. We had a nice flush out. So anyway, I got in there low ones, under one. I held it over. I may be wrong. We might be opening at 80 cents. I don't know. However, I think because there was 250 million volume, I think that the message boards will be busy. I think that there was enough people that will be interested in this thing for a little bit of a rebound. $1.20, $1.30 maybe max. I don't know. But I'd be happy with 110, 120, and if it starts to base from there, then I'll be patient. If not looking to overstay on this thing. So, lastly, from last week, we can do, let's see, Ismael Alonso for a free t-shirt. And let's see, Lee Walsh for a free month of IU. So each month we do one free month of IU. We do t-shirts the rest of the time, as well as we throw in some Momo Trader books in there. The way in which you get that is by leaving your biggest takeaway from today. So whatever your biggest takeaway was from Scan today, it might have been in the first 15 minutes, write it, because it helps me help you guys. It helps me kind of with my spiels at the beginning of the video. And last reminder, CODY Bootcamp. I think that there is 6 or 7 spots left. And again, we're keeping it to 35 people, as well as you guys that are interested. You are more than happy to attend. There will be a replay available if you can attend it. But that is another benefit for being an IU member. So that is about it, guys. And we'll catch you in the room Monday morning. We'll see you bright and early. Get prepared, or as we say, don't show up.